Hey, I'm Mia. I'm a mystic. Welcome to a moment with Mystic Mia. We're looking at Are You Spiritually Lonely? And we started the list with 3 points in a previous video. And we're going to continue with this list. Okay, so we talked about community, having smaller communities and many, like at least a few, two or more. Of these communities, so you always feel seen and heard, and people are always checking up on you. You're always checking up on others. And then number two, we have work, hobbies, and doing activities together. Just thinking that you want these friends isn't going to make them magically appear. Like, you have to think about what you like to do for work, what you like to work on every day. It doesn't even have to be your job, but like what you like to work on every day, like your hobbies, or what kind of activities you would like doing with other people, and then go to those groups, right? Because it's gonna resonate with you when you find like-minded people, and doing activities with others is the best way to find it, whether it's in work or something fun. It's just that's just how you naturally click with people. Okay, so then the third thing was spending time in natures, just like seeing different patterns and in nature and within yourself and your own nature. There's patterns within your own biology and within the natural systems out there that just are in everything else in life. And so things will start clicking or making sense or connecting in ways that you didn't really think of before. Yeah, you feel less lonely being out in nature, feeling you feel more connected to your true self. And I don't know, that kind of brings around some like energy around you that connects you with other people. Like, I always trust people when they tell me that they like being out in nature, and I'm like, all right, I can trust that person. Like, I can't, I don't understand like people who are just like in a dark room on their computer playing games all day. It's like, yeah, something's not right up here. Like, once in a while, like, okay, that's cool, but like, if you're not connecting to nature, you're not connecting to something good. What are you connecting to? It might not be bad, but all right, so let's continue this list. I'm using ChatGPT's like recommendations kind of in this topic, but didn't really give me good ones this time. But like, I'm kind of using it for inspiration. So let's see what's happening here. Connect with your why. Return to the core of your spiritual journey. What first moved you to walk this path? Okay. The spiritual path. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Reconnecting to why you even started this in the first place. Okay, let's use that for inspiration. Why did I? Because my life came crashing down. Every area. It was like I kept doing the same things over and over, and it was like little tower moments, and then Dark Night of the Souls, following those tower moments. And then I jump back into doing the same thing or similar things, or going after the same kind of job, or having the same kind of relationships, until the point I crashed and burned so hard that I had no choice but to start over. Huge ego death, all that. So why did I start this? Because I wasn't going down the right path. I wasn't living an authentic life. Okay, so authenticity. Are you spiritually lonely? Authenticity. How does that fit in? I'm like looking for the why. Like, what can be something to combat that loneliness that comes from starting off a spiritual path or being on a spiritual journey, and then kind of something that kind of helps us get to visualize to a better society, some dreams and goals for us to like aim for. Authenticity. Yeah, I think like maybe spiritually lonely. you know when they say like, oh, you don't feel kind of lonely, time just flies by when you're doing something that you love, when you're in that free flow state. So free flow state. um so I think that that's kind of also has to do with it. You know, we can try to get as much out of other people as we possibly can, but at the end of the day, if you can't connect with yourself, if you don't like yourself, who else is gonna like you? If you can't find things that you like to do, if you can't find things that you want to do, even if you're stuck in a rut, it's like, okay, let me find something that's interesting. I'm not talking about depression. When you're depressed, like even things that you do like, you don't like. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you feel stuck, in a rut, bored, kind of over your current life or specific things in your life. You're like, I don't want to do this again, or I'm over living like this, or having the same thing happen in this area of life. You need fresh energy, fresh ideas. You need to think differently in order to have your life be differently, to make different choices and make different changes. And so you gotta like yourself again. Like yourself. And it's kind of like, you know how when you're in a relationship, you grow and your partner grows, and you kind of have to grow with that person. They might take on different interests. They might like they might want to change jobs. They might want to change up friends. They might take on different hobbies. They might like be interested in different foods. They might want to go travel to different places. They might want to stay at home. They change. People change, right? And then you have to, if you love your partner, you allow them to do that within reason, right? And you gotta do the same thing for yourself, for your relationship, for yourself. You gotta like yourself again. if you don't want to be spiritually lonely, if you want to find people who resonate, if you want to enjoy having conversations with other people again, you have to enjoy spending time with yourself again. And that takes time, and it's like kind of annoying because like, what do you mean? I do like myself, but then like, when's the last time you just had fun hanging out by yourself? Now spiritual people, it's kind of like a moot point, because it's like that's all you do. All you do is hang out with yourself, and all you've been doing is figuring out things that you like, and spending time meditating, connecting with spirit, following these signs, learning about yourself, which is really cool, unpacking things, and seeing truth and rabbit holes. It's all about the enjoying time with yourself. But then it gets to the point where it's like, oh, I've been spending too much time by myself. I want to hang out with others. But you're continuously evolving. And usually when you're just starting your spiritual journey, like when you're in your spiritual initiation phase, which for me was like 7 years, it varies from person to person, but it takes a long time to kind of get to that place where that foundation is solid, right? So what do? You got to keep evolving, and there's so many different things that you'd evolve. Like something I did recently was evolve my shadow aspects. So for example, my dark feminine, my dark masculine, and then just like my shade. I like to call it the dark aspect in people, specifically if you're a human being, if you're a person, because it's kind of like a man-made thing. We chose to have a darkness within to create darkness in order to grow and evolve, and it's become a part of us. And there's the shade within yourself, and there's like the shade within the collective, and you kind of work with a little bit of both, but mostly your own shade, your own shadow aspect. Shadow is different because shadow is just aspects of yourself you don't know, but there's like shadow aspects that are like good qualities within you that you don't that you might not know or you haven't discovered yet. Dark aspect, I'm talking about the dark. We're talking about the contrast here, and this is a planet of duality, so there's like an opposing force, but I'm in the belief system that light reigns supreme, and there is just love and light in the universe, and this is a closed system where darkness is formed, and it's come to the point where it's almost like equal. but it's not supposed to be equal. It's supposed to be very little darkness for growth, and it's become equal. It comes almost equal at like the Iron Age, and then it goes back to being mostly just love and light, utopia feel for a majority of the time in the physical plane, because this physical plane was meant to be enjoyed. You're supposed to create and just love and enjoy each day and experience this experience time, experience the physicality. But after we get bored with it for a little while during the golden age, you know, we kind of bring in a little bit of darkness and a little bit, and it gets here to the maximum of 50-50, but that's it. And that's when it's like, nope, too much, time to bring it back to the divine. That's my thoughts on it. I mean, I'm editing, involving and everything, but I'm pretty concrete in that. Okay, so yeah, so even like my dark feminine energy, I decided to express her through like storytelling, through writing. Writing is great for anything. If you have any issue that you want to not just solve head on, that's kind of like uncomfortable, I also use it for my sacred feminine, so my sexuality, and I put those together and I use that. I evolve that through like writing stories and stuff. When I've completed my initial spiritual awakening journey, I realized that my shadow aspect or my dark aspect also wanted to kind of evolve with me. They're like, you're going to 5D, like, hey, we're coming with you. We're not, where do you think we're going to go? We're going to evolve with you into the 5D. So even my shadow aspects are coming out of the darkness into the light, but on the lower level, right? So like, for example, my masculine dark energies, like I always wanted to kind of like take some sort of martial arts or learn some sort of fighting technique, and I never really did it in my life. Might have done it in past lifetimes, but I'm never gonna be that person who kind of takes these like and spars and stuff like that. But you know, I got this like boxing game, and it allows me to kind of live out that express my dark masculine energy. So like, and it's great because it's kind of like having this kind of, like, being able to learn some sort of fighting technique. It's like I wouldn't use it for evil, but I can use it. It's productive. You know, it's useful to me, instead of the dark aspect being something that's like a hindrance. So in that way, I've evolved my dark aspects into the 5D as well. And yeah, in order to kind of like myself again as this new version of myself, which I'm still trying to like, I'm finding out who this new 5D version of myself is, and exciting. I spent that time just kind of exploring new creative hobbies, and while I was still doing some inner work, I took on a lot of quiet hobbies, like painting or knitting or audiobooks, and like, you know, more quieter things. And now I'm doing more social creative hobbies, more louder, like music, creative hobbies, and just more active creative hobbies. So as you kind of step into, you know, as you kind of merge your physical and spiritual self into this 5D, this new like 5D energy, or this new aspect of yourself, coming off of the initial spiritual awakening, which, you know, there is like a learning curve there. I definitely found that more louder, social, and active creative projects and hobbies really helps to kind of push me into thinking in new ways, finding new things I like, being excited, and getting ready to kind of, because we've been in that kind of, you know, hermit phase for so long, in and out of it, but mostly in the hermit phase so long, to be kind of front facing, being more interactive. Not that you haven't been with certain folks here and there, but just more so. We're forming a light worker grid here, so it's going to be on a different level than it ever has been. All right, I think that's enough for this video. We only got 1 point this time. but it was a good one. It was authenticity, free flow, liking yourself. I mean, it's hard to admit sometimes, like, oh, maybe I don't like myself. Like, oh my God, like, did I behave that way? Like, is that how I reacted to that person doing that thing? Like, I don't like that. I'm going to change that about myself. It's hard to admit when you don't like even the way that you act, towards other people. It's like, oh, I wish I would kept my cool a little bit, or, like, I wish I was a little bit more witty with that comeback, or, kind of seeing, how you want to present yourself as this new version of yourself. You have a chance. This is a whole new chapter you're walking into, and you have the chance to be the version that you want to be, and it's a higher and better version, and yeah, you're ready for it. All right, that's it for this one. Hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. Much love and light. What was that?